Domain is your input values. So if the domain is the inputs, is that going to be my x values or my y values? X values. I see some of us who already put inputs on the left, outputs on the right. Smart. So input values, it's the x values. If we are looking at a point, say we're looking at x comma y, then we are looking at the x value, obviously, the first number. And this is what we'll do a lot of today, is looking at a graph. If we're looking at graphs, oh, there's stickers now?
Yeah. We had to go to the office.
Okay. If we're looking at a graph, then we are going to look from left to right. Farthest left to the farthest right. Range is the outputs, obviously, because inputs were the domain. So they are the y values. If we're looking at a point, we're looking at the second number since we want the y values. And if we're looking at a graph, we want to look from lowest to highest. So I have an arrow drawn there. Lowest to highest. My domain are my x values. So I'm going to do these in different colors so you can, hopefully that helps. Domain, I'm going to do in blue. I want my x values, which would be -2, -1, 0, and 1. When we do this, we usually write it in brackets. So I know this is kind of weird, but you're going to draw these little squiggly brackets. And you're literally going to list out your x values. My x values are -2, -1, 0, and 1. That's my domain. Range are my y values, which you see are 2, 2, 2, and 0. I think we talked about this yesterday. Do I need to say 2 3 times? No, that would be a little redundant. Not necessary.
Maybe 2 to the third power.
We're just going to say 2 one time. So we usually going to list smallest to largest, so we're going to list 0 first, and then just list 2 one time. I understand it was there 3 times. You don't need to repeat it to me. We've got -2, -1, 0, 0, 1, and 2. Do I need to repeat 0 twice? No. So just list out your numbers. Not necessary. Okay, in your range, I don't think you have anything repeated, so just list out your 6 y values. Daniel, what's my domain?
It is -1, 3, and 11.
Yup. Addison, what's my range? Yep. Your graphs can either be separate points, like you see for number 17 and 20, or they can be connected like you see for the other 4. Depending on what we have, we write it differently. We're going to do number 17. Okay, number 17, you have separate points. What I would recommend you do is you list out the 4 points that you see first, and then write for me the domain and range. So my points are, is that -3, -2? What's the next one? It's -1, So there's one on the x-axis, that's -1, 0. And then we have this guy at 1, 2. And the top right, that would be 3, 4. It's a lot easier to write your domain and range once you actually have the points written down. So now you just have to list out for me my domain. My x values are -3, -1, 1, and 3. And Nadia, what's my range? My y values. Good. -2, 0, 2, and 4. Here are your 5 points if you want to check. Those are the 5 points that you have. Once you have the 5 points, you should be able to write the domain and range really easily. So these are the 5 points that are graphed. Andrew, what's my domain? My x values.
-2, -1, 0, 1, and 4.
1 and should be 2. Should be 2. Because the last point is 2, 4. The rest of them are good. And the range are my y values. Ari, there's some repeated y values, so what is the only thing I should say for my range? 0, 2, and 4. Good. Don't repeat it. So from box in however far left and right it goes and up and down. Draw a box around it. That will help. To get your domain, if you look back at what we wrote on the front side, domain goes from left to right. So my domain, I'm looking farthest left to farthest right. Where is the farthest left? Where does it start? Farthest to left? -2. Farthest to the right, where does it stop? 3. So for my domain, I want x values between -2 and 3, just like you would do for compound inequalities. Look at the edges here. Do we have open or closed circles? Closed, so then it's going to be or equal to. So it is, I'm going to write it down. I'm going to let you think on it for a second. What this is saying is that my x values start at -2, they stop at 3. Because they're closed circles, we put the or equal to. Just like we wrote compound inequalities before, your signs have to face towards the right. Less than signs. Range goes from the lowest point to the highest point. So look at your box. Where's the lowest point for the y values, please? -1. That's the lowest. And then go up. Where's it stop? 2. So my range, because they're closed circles, I have less than or equal to for both of them, and it's between -1 and no, not 3, 2, right? This is my domain and range because it's continuous and it's all connected. If you are lost, I'm going to start going over it. I box it in. I have 2 open circles, so I should have less than signs, not equal to. Your domain goes from left to right because you want the x values. Guys, on the farthest to the left, where does it start? 2. So 2 is less than x. Farthest to the right, where does it stop? Should be 7. So I have open circles, so they're less than. What we're saying is that the x values start at 2 and stop at 7. That's all you're doing. The range is lowest to highest. So right here. Lowest value for the y's is 1. The y values. Highest value for the y's? 6. So it's y values from 1 to 6. Why are these not equal to?
It's not filled in.
Right, you have open circles. And open circles mean that you have to use less than signs. Sometimes you'll have one open, one closed, so you have to pay attention to that. It has like a starting point here. It sort of starts there, but then it goes forever. Okay. So the domain from left to right is a little bit different for this one because it goes forever to the right. On the left, guys, where does it start to the left? It does start at 1. Where does it stop going to the right?
It doesn't, technically.
It looks like it stops at 6, but it doesn't. It keeps going forever and ever and ever because you see those arrows. It goes on to infinity and beyond.
Would it be greater than 6?
So it's going to be x values greater than or equal to 1. Because it's everything at 1 and higher. Because the values get greater going to the right. Think of it like you did for your inequalities you graphed on a number line. That's what we're doing here. Except it's going in 2 directions. And the range is really special here. Please remember that range is lowest to highest. Where's the lowest point?
0.
It looks like it's 0, but do you see the arrow?
Yeah.
So it's not 0, because it keeps going. Where's the lowest point? Infinity. It's negative infinity. It doesn't have a lowest point, basically. Where's the highest point? Doesn't have one. And so what you say is, because it goes from negative infinity to positive infinity, you do all real numbers. And a symbol you're going to start seeing me use for that is this weird R. It has 2 lines. If you don't want to use it, it's okay, but that's a symbol for all real numbers. Because it goes forever to the lowest point and forever for the highest point. It doesn't stop ever, either direction. Last thing, number 21. Again, arrows. Arrows are important, meaning it goes to infinity and beyond. So it looks like it's stopping at the arrow. It's not. Remind yourself that. Let's do the domain first. Domain is from left to right. On the left side, where does it start? Looks like it starts at 0. Does it? No. Arrows. Pay attention to the arrows. I'm very passionate about it. No. It goes to negative infinity. How about to the right? Where does it stop? It doesn't. Positive infinity. So you say all real numbers. Or you can put that special little R if you want. I'm not going to this time. Range. Range is a little bit better. Because you do have a lowest point. What's your lowest point? No, it's not 2. It's 0 on the y values. I know it's not 2 on the x values. It's confusing. 0 on the y values. And then it goes up. So this is all. And does it ever stop going up? No. Y values greater than or equal to 0. That's your range.